Hello, everybody. What's up? Cedric here for CR Wrestling Commentary, kicking a cup. Fandom Memories. Scott Hall. Uh, yeah, I said I was going to do this, and I was going to prolong it for another week. Because I don't write notes and do research. I go on my memories. That's what I do. I think that's fair. You know, it's Fandom Memories, but you're going to do the research and pull it from other. No, it's got to be your memories. And the reason I didn't prolong it was because I saw that Jim Cornette had talked about him, and I was like, oh, I can't listen to that because it's going to taint my memories, because I might hear something and be like, oh yeah, it triggers this, and I need to be genuine. I want and need to be genuine. So, my earliest memories of Scott Hall predates a lot of people. Not many people are going to remember what I'm about to say. But the first time I saw him was WCW. And that was when it was still branching off of the NWA. And you no longer saw an NWA or WCW symbol or logo or anything on the apron. It just blank. You know, World Championship Wrestling, but you saw no logos. And he was managed by someone that had just started gabbing by the name of Diamond Dallas Page. He was wearing blue sweatpants or something like that. He had this white kind of American symbol shirt on collar, and sometimes the whole outfit, shades, sparkly earrings, trying to be blinged down, talked the biggest game that he possibly could. He managed Scott Hall, who was going under the ring name at the time, the Diamond Stud. That's the earliest memories I have of him. Diamond Dallas Page was like, I'm going to bring in a ringer. Somebody's going to catapult me to the top. I'm going to catapult him to the top, yada, yada, yada. So you get matches, and he's winning them. It just doesn't, how can I say, compared to Sting, Flair, sometimes Luger, Arn Anderson, and others that I was watching, he just didn't seem as, how can I say, crisp as they did at the time. You know, just I didn't understand about smooth working and stuff. I was just a little kid. So I'm like, okay. And he didn't talk. He didn't talk. He did some run-ins. He attacked. His finisher was that crucifix power bomb, that falling power bomb, but he called it the Diamond Death Drop. That's what he called it. And he was winning match after match with it, and that was pretty much it. He was winning. I don't really remember any feuds, and I know he had one or two, I think. But like I said, this is Fandom Memories, and I just don't remember much about anything that he did. I remember, I think it was Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross speaking about him like he was a serious threat and yada yada yada. But okay, and I thought he was all right. He was young. That's what it looked like to me. He was very young, and I guess some would say inexperienced. But I was just like, it's a dude. I like his finisher. I like the way he threw his punches. I like the way he did it. And it was all right. You know, it was pretty cool. And I remember Dallas Page picking the toothpick out of his own mouth and throwing it at the camera after certain interviews. And then all of a sudden, both of them were gone. They were just gone. So sometime later, WWF, there's these vignettes. They say it today. Back then, it was just promotional videos on the Titantron. That's pretty much what that was. And so, all right, it's advertisements, and it's for Razor Ramon. It's the bad guy, and he's coming, and it's playing this Hispanic type music. Okay. All right. And it was a while. I mean, back then they advertised for like a month or 2 or 3 before that person comes out. So my first time seeing him, Howard Finkel, the Fink, you know, he introduced, you know, making his way to the ring, Razor Ramon, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, that's the Diamond Stud. He's in shape. He's cut. Where'd that chest hair come from? Why does his hair look like that? It ain't like that before. Okay. He got that cartoon permanent, you know, shaved face. It doesn't grow. It doesn't go away. It's just permanent. So he comes out, the gold lights, and he's got the vest on and stuff, and he's, you know, okay, cool. And so he you know, and I watch his match, and I'm like, okay, that's the same guy. He's doing a few more things. He actually looks like he knows what he's doing in the ring now. It looks, okay, it's better. That's cool. And then, you know, and then the first promo, Oleo May. I was like, huh? Hey, yo, I'm the bad guy. I'm like, okay, so we got good guys and bad guys in wrestling. We know that, but you're saying you're the bad guy. So are you the baddest guy? So I'm thinking about, are you the baddest guy? Because no one calls themselves the bad guy. He's the bad guy. This guy is the bad guy. So, okay, let's go with this, right? And, you know, I'm smiling about it, and I'm still a bit curious, like, what's going on? And and I was like, and they talk that he's from Cuba, and I'm like, wait a minute, he doesn't have an accent. I love his voice. I love his voice. I like the slow version of his talking. I like that. That is a unique thing. The wrestlers that stand out and actually do the most and become more popular are those with a uniqueness. It's not about just your clothes. Your personality's got to fit your attire, and your ring style's got to fit your demeanor. And so he was doing all that. And he talks to the camera. He does his thing, takes a toothpick out, throws it right there. I said, ah. I was like, okay, Dallas Page. So then, because I didn't understand things back then. I'm like, is Dallas Page coming to the WWF? Because he vanished from WCW. You know, it was like, what in the world? So then, you know, I'm watching him, and hey, that championship material. He was championship material. I liked his promos. I liked watching him in the ring. The matches that I liked the most were, he wrestled Shawn Michaels once, and then I think never again. And he wrestled Bret Hart, and that was brutal. That was one of his first feuds and matches. And that was, I remember both of them. I was thinking, like, I don't know who's going to win this match. I really don't. Razor won it, I believe. Razor Ramon. So like, oh. So I was like, good, because Bret Hart is too predictable. That's where I was, too predictable. So, and that's not to take away a lot of Bret Hart. I'll do one on him. Just trust me, it's not negative like I just sounded. Trust me. So Scott, Razor Ramon, honestly, he's the bad guy. He's the villain. He's the heel. But he's the cool heel. The fans want to boo him, but they freaking love him. I mean, they're booing him out the wazoo, but they want to wear the vest, the gold chain. People want to come to the wrestling events with toothpicks in their mouths. People on the street starting fights, legitimately starting fights, throwing toothpicks in people's faces. People was mimicking Razor Ramon across the nation. People who consider themselves tough, they start, and that stuff, people used to do that back in the 60s and 70s and whatnot. You know, the greasers and whatnot, and back in the 40s and whatnot. So yeah, it's nothing new, but when you see some celebrity that all of a sudden is new, even though you probably watched it just last week with some ruffian on the side of the street, or just somebody chilling and doing nothing to nobody, but this guy, a celebrity on TV, he's all cool, like the bad guy. So hey, now it's fresh. So now you got to do it, and oh man. Yeah, at school people got into trouble bringing toothpicks and throwing them in people's faces, and stupid. I thought they were stupid. I thought it was stupid, but I thought Razor Ramon was cool because obviously he knows what he's doing, and he's throwing it at a camera, not a person, because people aren't dumb. They're not smart enough to realize that he's throwing it at a lens and not a person's eye. He's not, oh my goodness. So he, and I watch him, with the ladder match. I see all this other stuff. Okay, I didn't like the ladder match. I was like, wrestle, I mean, if I hit somebody in real life with a ladder across the head, they're not getting up. I'm pinning them. So I didn't like that. Somebody hit me in the chest with a ladder, I'm going to lay there because that hurts a lot because I felt it. So you don't get up for a while. You're pretty much done. So then he's gone. He leaves. He goes to WCW. NWO. So yay! NWO. Him and Kevin Nash. Because of being purchased, leaving WWF, going to WCW. And today is called breaking the fourth wall, which seems stupid, or whatnot, the fourth door or the forbidden door. That's it, the forbidden door. They call themselves the Outsiders. So Scott Hall, not Razor Ramon from Cuba. No, he's Scott Hall, which I thought was a better damn name. And the other influence that Razor Ramon had, for those that don't know, in Japan, Razor Ramon HG. Took a while to figure out what that was, but it was Razor Ramon, hard gay. And this guy was what you call an epic good guy. It was the only two videos we saw. One, this guy was just chilling, minding his own business. He ate a sandwich. He was done. He dropped the paper right on the ground. Razor Ramon HG rolls up on this guy and starts dancing and pelvic thrusting all up on this guy and point down at the paper. And the guy is like, dude, he's like, man, he picks the paper up, throw it in the trash, like, man, will it get you off me? And then HG backs up. Another guy was smoking in a non-smoking area. He goes up, starts pelvic thrusting and just dancing and just good grief. And the guy eventually leaves the area. So it was hilarious. Razor Ramon, before getting to Scott Hall, he influenced a lot of people to buy vests. If you would have stopped marketing to buy vests, yeah, you would have made money on vests. Oh man, kind of wonder where you think Steve Austin got it, because he won a vest. Well, no, he was a vest guy. He was already a vest guy. I don't know. Kind of popped up at the same time. Razor Ramon got popular. He was in WCW. Yeah, well. So, I'm gonna leave that one up in the air. So when it comes to WCW outsiders, Scott Hall, he was just chill, just, you know. I was like, man, he's got the same tone as his Cubano version. And so I would just pick on that a little bit in my head and just laugh about it. I was like, man, he in one federation, he's from Cuba, and in this one, he's just dude from the United States. All right. But Scott Hall, he didn't change. Nothing about him changed, and I like that. He just come to another place, and he's just being himself. You know, he was mad, piss somebody off. You get them down on that mat and start scruffing up their hair and smacking them around. I'm like, man, somebody's got to fight this guy. You know, his in-ring tactics made you hate him more, and I like that. You know, the idea is a heel, right? He's got to be a jerk. That's what he does. And then, how can I say, he started being a little bit more of himself. And then he's going to Japan and whatnot. His matches, he had so many matches. I guess he and Scott Steiner loved wrestling each other, because good grief. You know, one of the more, that was for anyone that was just getting into wrestling back then. You'd be like, well, what's this beef between, you know, the outsiders and the Steiners? You know, Scott getting bigger. Rick is like, I get bigger because I work out. Scott's like, oh no, I'm going for a thing here. And Scott and Razor, they just had their things in the ring. Scott Steiner got a habit of those 3 atomic drops sometimes on Scott Hall. And he always, I don't know why he did it. He slapped the thighs of Scott to get this extra sound effect. It worked. But it was also weird. It was like auditorially and optically odd. You know, the synapses of the brain was like, what? This and you know, but it worked. And it was comical. Scott would sell to the point where at first in WCW, it's kind of like, okay, it's a thing. And you realize Scott got his number at that time. So that works. Then you see in Japan where Scott gets a little more animated with it. And you're kind of like, okay, I see, funny. Then he comes back to the States. They both teams do. At a point, and you see Scott more animated with it. And see, here's the thing: I saw it in the States, gone for about 2 weeks, come back, and it's all animated. A few years later, I get a few tapes from Japan, buying it online at the time, and then I saw what had happened, which was that middle ground. Oh, that's when. So that's, you know, piecing it together like that. Scott Hall's WCW career was very standard. He drew people, he drew eyes, butts, and seats, tickets. He was a draw, not just Hogan. It wasn't just the Hogan show. No, people like Scott Hall. People would get mad, and if you ever go back and watch when they're throwing stuff in the into the ring and stuff at Hogan. Never Nash, never Hall. Hogan. Whenever anyone had to get out the way, it was Hogan. So, time come, time go. WCW gets bought. Some time later, Scott Hall appears on Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. And I was like, okay, now he's Elvis. And he's put on some weight. Things have been happening. And then you listen to, and this is what I never, Jeff Jarrett ran down Scott Hall, personal, real life. I mean, called out his drinking habits and other habits and how he's gotten out of shape and he done, and yada. I was like, wow. Jeff Jarrett, it was almost like I hate you for real. Scott did a match or two, and yeah, you could tell his steps were off. His cardio was strongly diminished. And then Samoa Joe spoke something, not of a truth, but just like he's not here or something. So Kevin Nash, that sparked Kevin Nash be like, I'm going to whoop you because you spoke, ill about my buddy, Scott. And I'm like, Jeff Jarrett just, threw his business out in the street like he was the worst thing in the public circle. And Joe has a slight mention, and now you got to go attack Joe. I'm like, what is going on? But then he's like, Scott Hall's got more problems than you'll ever know, and yada yada. So Kevin Nash publicly was protecting his friend Scott. Sean Waltman also, and I'm just like, this shit's on TV. What is the world? And as much as it entertained us while we watched it, at the same time, us, me and Cedra, we were kind of worried. Because I was like, if this is true, Scott, he's not going to live a long time if he's got these addictions or issues or whatnot. And so since TNA, in the back of my mind, I've been, like, man, I hope he gets better and stuff. And then, he's gone from TNA. They're not wrestling there. Kevin Nash had a hard time keeping his leg healthy. And then next thing I know, they talk about Scott Hall in the hospital. Scott Hall in rehab. Scott Hall was in a drunken something at a wrestling show. Scott Hall, I was like, what is going on and why? Then I realized, not my business. Not my business. Because it's not. I care about the wrestler because I'm a wrestling fan. I don't want to get into their real life. I don't. I'd rather their real life not be thrown into wrestling, but so much. Not the way Jeff Jarrett, I think he went way too far. So then we get a reunification in my mind. I know they never stopped being buddies, but then the Diamond Stud reunites with Diamond Dallas Page, DDP Yoga, and gets him back in shape. I think he said he had a hip replacement and some other stuff, and showing these videos and showing how well Scott Hall is doing, and the people are just yay and cheering for him and whatnot. People love Scott Hall. Wrestlers get a lot of love. Celebrities get a lot of love. It's just the Joe Schmoes that no one care about. And I get it. People are attuned to stature. So, yeah, I get it. And, think about the damage one puts on themselves just being in a wrestling ring. Night in, night out, away from the family. They hurt their everything. They got it, it hurts. Sore. Pain medication. Sometimes you need stronger and you get addicted to those. Sometimes it's not the pain physically, it's the pain mentally. Not much rest, not much sleep, worrying if you're going to do this right or that right. Missing family, missing a stable, stationary home. Paying bills on a home you can't stay in for long. A lot of that, yeah. So, with that level of sacrifice, yeah, it's all good. But then, Scott, you didn't hear about him for a long time. He showed up at wrestling events, like gatherings and things like that. Photo shoots or something like that, signing autographs, and you don't hear anything about them. And some years go by. People that know where to get this information, they see Scott Hall practically every other day. People that know where to find videos and things like that, yeah, they don't miss a beat. until he's nowhere around because health issues. So yeah, Scott Hall, wow. I mean, a major influence in wrestling, an unforgettable, and I got to, hand it to WWE, unforgettable title run, appearance, persona, Scott Hall with that unique voice that you look at him, don't look like anybody else in wrestling, not at that time and not at this time and not any time before. Absolutely unique, head to toe, in-ring style and whatnot. Unique, just like those that do make it. They are unique. They aren't cookie cutter. There won't be another. There can't be, because it's too unique. I saw him working out once with his son, Cody Hall. And I don't know if I saw Cody wrestle. I saw Vader wrestle with his son. That was beautiful. Vader didn't do much, but yet that was beautiful. I don't know, but I wonder if Scott Hall had a chance to wrestle with his son, Cody Hall. Cody, man, he does not have his dad's voice or too much his looks at that time. It's been a long time since I saw Cody Hall. But if you ever had the chance to wrestle or manage him or something, that would have been beautiful. Wrestle against him, tag team with him, or just manage from the side. That'd been beautiful. That's a beautiful thing that people overlook. You get a chance to wrestle with your son or manage your son or your daughter in case of Ric Flair and whatnot, or put them in certain situations, positive ones, not negative ones. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I don't know Scott Hall personally, and I never wanted to look into anything of how he treated others behind the scenes, although it's some questionable stuff and there's some outlandish stuff and some jacked up stuff. But at the same time, got to make money. And I'm going to tell you, he lived a fast life. So I would like to think the best curtain call would be this, considering that he did everything he wanted to do. He had friends. Regardless if it was an addiction or not, he had fun with the booze. He had fun with the ladies, I'm sure. Smoked some weed, get in trouble with cops. I mean, active, full-on life. I'm not saying everyone should do this or anyone should do it, but for him, it was a wild and crazy ride, and I bet he barely has any regrets. And that is the best curtain call that somebody could have for being Scott Hall. So I hope you enjoyed this. This has been Cedric for CR Wrestling Commentary, Fandom Memories on Scott Hall. See you next time.